right, friends, welcome back to our study through the book of Genesis. We are continuing with this journey, verse by verse, chapter by chapter through the book of Genesis. We now are in Genesis chapter 27. Genesis 27 is really a turning point in the unfolding story of Genesis. The theme of this chapter that we're going to cover is twofold. The sovereignty of God. The purpose of God continues unhindered, regardless of the attempts by you and I, human beings, people, to either manipulate them or try to bring God's plan to fruition through deception. We encounter just that fact in this book. Genesis chapter 27 verse 1 says, "When Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his older son and said to him, 'My son.' And he answered, 'Here I am.' He said, 'Behold, I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me. And prepare me delicious food, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die.' Now, Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game and bring it, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, 'I heard your father speak to your brother Esau. Bring me game and prepare for me delicious food, that I may eat it and bless you before the Lord before I die. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice as I command you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, so that I may prepare from them delicious food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies.' But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, 'Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me and shall seem to be mocking him, and bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing.' His mother said to him, 'Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go bring them to me.' So he went and took them and brought them to his mother. And his mother prepared delicious food, such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau her older son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And the skins of the young goats she put on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. And she put the delicious food and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob." Now, man, let's just pause and unpack here. This is a divided family. You clearly see favoritism. Notice the dysfunctional family dynamics. Isaac favors Esau. Rebekah favors Jacob. Husband and wife are not united. The sons, Esau and Jacob, are in competition with each other. Favoritism creates conflict and division in this house. God never needs our manipulation to accomplish his will. Isaac is trying to supersede, ignore actually what God had told him. In Genesis 25, God had told Isaac that the lesser will rule, be a leader over the older. Isaac knows this, but he just chooses to ignore that. Rebekah, on the other hand, chooses active deception. She responds with deception instead of trusting God. God never needs our manipulation to accomplish His will. Verse 18. So he went in to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau. Notice the deception. Your firstborn. I have done as you have told me. Now sit up and eat of my game, that your soul might bless me. But Isaac said to his son, How is it that you have found so quickly, my son? He answered, Because the Lord your God granted me success. Then Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son or not. So Jacob went near to Isaac his father, who felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. He said, Are you really my son Esau? He answered, I am. Then he said, Bring it near to me, that I may eat of my son's game and bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, Come near and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of the heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. Let's pause and unpack. Jacob repeatedly lies to Isaac, his father. One compromise leads to another. Sin rarely remains small. Obedience is always better. The sins compound, as you clearly see. He repeats these lies, even uses God's name to lie to his dad, Isaac. Sin rarely remains small. Sin rarely remains small. Obedience is always better. Deception grows quickly. Notice the progression of his sins. Deception grows quickly. He moved from one sin to another. I am your son. God has led me to you. God has given me quick success to get this game for you. Sin just compounds. Deception grows quickly. Verse 30. As soon as Isaac finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. He also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me. His father Isaac said to him, Who are you? He answered, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. Then Isaac trembled very violently and said, Who was it that hunted game and brought it to me? And I ate it all before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed. As soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry and said to his father, Bless me, even me also. This is heartbreaking. Oh, my father. But he said, Your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing. Esau said, Is he not rightly called named Jacob, for he has cheated me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. Then he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Isaac answered and said to Esau, behold, I have made him lord over you, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son? Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck. Wow. All right, now let's unpack this. Some consequences, they cannot be reversed. Esau loses the covenant blessing. Though he's so remorseful, the blessing cannot be recalled. It cannot be reversed. Value God's blessings today. And the reason I say that, value God's blessings today, is in spite of Esau's complaint about his brother Jacob deceptively stealing from him, Esau conveniently forgets that he did give up his birthright to his brother Jacob earlier. And though Jacob had deceived him, Esau is also culpable because he despised his birthright when he sold it to his brother Jacob. So now the consequences of his actions are now becoming manifest. He's starting to see the consequence of what he did. And he's realizing that some consequences cannot be reversed. Therefore, we should value God's blessings today. Let's finish this up by looking at the last part. Sin always leaves lasting scars. Verse 41. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. But the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee to Laban, my brother in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away, until your brother's anger turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of you both in one day? Then Rebekah said to Esau, I loathe my life. Rebekah said to Isaac, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob marries one of the Hittite women like these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be? We'll continue in chapter 28 next time. Now, but let's conclude, land the plane. Esau seeks revenge. Jacob, in turn, decides to flee. The family is fractured. Actually, it's important to note that unbeknown to Rebekah, who tells Jacob to flee and go to her brothers, this was the last time she would ever see Jacob. Because Jacob would be gone for approximately 20 years. And in that time, Rebekah would die. So we know Jacob never sees Rebekah again, and Rebekah never sees Jacob again. But she does not know that. See, this is the cost of deception. They are all in deception, but nobody is understanding the consequences. We see favoritism divides the families, deception grows quickly, some consequences cannot be reversed, and sin leaves lasting scars. Sin always promises quick solutions but produces lasting pain. God's purposes, they will stand despite human failure, human manipulation, human deception. Jacob, he did receive the blessing because of God's sovereign choice. However, it came at the price of a fractured family. This ultimately points to the sovereignty of God, that his purposes will prevail regardless of human efforts to manipulate or deceive ourselves into thinking that we can control God's purpose. This story points to Jesus Christ, who secured our blessing through his perfect obedience. Isaac did not obey, Rebekah did not obey, Jacob did not obey, Esau did not obey. But pointing to the future nation of Israel, and out of that nation comes Jesus, Jesus secured our blessing through obedience. Contrast that to this family, trying to secure God's blessing through manipulation and deception. We need to trust God's promises. We need to avoid favoritism and deception. We need to understand that sin has lasting consequences. We need to understand that God's sovereignty will always prevail. His purposes will always prevail. And our blessing is found only in Christ. We do not have to manipulate, deceive to attain God's purpose or blessing. We just need to trust in Christ. We need to trust God's way, God's timing, and God's faithfulness. Next week, Genesis chapter 28. Shalom. Hope to see you then.